Hi everyone and welcome back to the Kevin Welsh podcast. So today's episode is a very special episode that is pre our ultra marathon. So our ultra marathon has been completed, we finished it, me and Louis, but this is when we sat down 2 days before the ultra marathon and discussed all things Louis Armstrong. Louis Armstrong's been one of my biggest influences in the past 6 months, and even before that, just through watching his YouTube videos and following his Instagram, I've learned loads from him. I'm currently on his Creator Club Weekend Together where there's 12 of us in a villa, and if you want an insight into what exactly Louis Armstrong teaches us all in the Creator Club, so a plug for the Creator Club, and what exactly he's changed in my life or my lifestyle over the past 6 months, this podcast goes into exactly what I've learned. So one of my favorite self-development books is, and it's very, very famous, it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People, and that's basically Louis. Louis is an expert on getting on people's good sides, networking with different people, connecting with different people, connecting with brands, influencing people, or as we say in modern culture, being an influencer or a content creator, and helping people sell products, helping people promote themselves, and just helping people grow and develop their own personal brand. So in today's episode we cover working with 3 of the best fitness influencers in the world, Mike Thurston, Matt Does Fitness, and Rob Lipsett. He's taken brilliant photos and videos that 3 of the top fitness influencers in the world have loved, and then obviously those extremely large followings have really loved the way those images were captured and the way those videos were captured. So that's really, really interesting, especially if you're interested in videography or photography yourself. We go through his philosophy on life, which is very, very simple. It's very, very basic. It's just enjoy the moment, and it's why so many people ring him when they want a good time. We talk about that for a few minutes and talk about why he believes in living in the now and not waiting until the future to enjoy the fruits of today's work. We talk about coaching, inspiring others, encouraging others, and making others believe in themselves more. This is something that I think Louis is extremely special at. I have a background in personal training and sports coaching, and Louis is brilliant at helping people believe in themselves more and encouraging people, making them bring out the best in themselves. And a lot of the time when people have an ambition, it's because they have an inkling that they have a lot more potential that they're not fulfilling yet. Louis is brilliant at bringing out that potential, and that's exactly what he does in the Creator Club. We go through how exactly he does that in today's podcast. So without any further ado, I'm just going to remind you once more, if you haven't donated to the ultra marathon, it's for charity. The GoFundMe link is going to be up for another week. If you haven't donated to that, I please ask you to donate to that. The link will be in the description below, and of course none of that money goes to us, it goes to the 2 Ibiza charities. So if you've ever enjoyed your time in Ibiza, it's well worth making a small donation. We'd be extremely grateful. So let's jump into today's podcast. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have someone I've been trying to track down all summer long. It's hard to get him to fully
sit in one place.
Yeah, at one time.
It's very difficult.
So first of all, how are you feeling about the run? It's the longest run you've ever done by double, I think.
Yeah, well, I did a marathon a while ago, but it was just in my own time. Like, there was no, I just wanted to run the distance, and it took like 6 hours because I was walking and running and just wanted to cover that distance in one day.
How long ago was that?
4 years ago. And then I was worried in my head the other day when I was thinking about it, because I don't know, I was just build up to things in my head, and then obviously all my friends are now arriving on the island, coming to distract me from my focus and pull me to parties the night before, which probably isn't the best preparation. But then I remembered I had done the David Goggins challenge, which was 48 miles in 48 hours.
I remember that.
And
how hard was that out of 10?
Hard. The sleep deprivation was probably the hardest thing, but I think I've got you, so, and we've got a nice team. We've got Ranbir driving, we've got Mark the videographer, Joel will probably help, Cindy will help. We've got a good little team.
It's like I said the last day to Ryan, I said it's like, not can you do it, it's can you see yourself quitting.
Exactly, exactly, that's the thing.
Can you see yourself quitting?
No, we'll get it done, if we have to crawl.
Exactly.
But I'm just, yeah, I'm actually excited for it.
And when you did the marathon versus the David Goggins challenge, which was harder?
David Goggins challenge, probably.
Because of the sleep?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how hard out of 10 were you, like, at the end of it? How exhausted were you? Because I know I collapsed after my ultramarathon, and I'd say it was a solid 9 out of 10, but I'd say if I had to go another 10, I would have.
I would say it's just like, what does Dave Goggins say? Like, when you feel like you're willing to quit, you're actually only like 30% or something.
Yeah,
like
I think
your body,
30% he says, yeah.
30 or 70%. So, nah, I think we're gonna be good. It's 55 kilometers. We hope it's 55 kilometers. We haven't drove the route yet. Maybe we can do that tomorrow. That'll be a good idea. But again, probably the hardest thing is just going to be the weather, the heat, the intense heat. And even when we're walking, we're still going to be, it's 30, 31 degrees on Tuesday. So hopefully we're going to get done nice and early in the morning. But I'm just more excited just to get it done, to say we've done it, and then see what the next challenge is.
Yeah, of course. So I know the last time we talked, we went through music and Ibiza and things like that, so a few different topics this time.
Okay.
But I think there are ones that people will be just as interested in, if not even more interested, to be honest. So the first thing, one of my favourite messages you've sent me, and you've sent me quite a few, because you send them to me and you send them to the rest of the guys in the Creator Club as well. But this one sums you up, I think, as well as anything you've ever sent me. So the parable of the Mexican fisherman. An American investment banker was at a pier of a small coastal Mexican village when a small boat with just one fisherman docked. Inside the small boat were several large yellow fin tuna. The American complimented the Mexican on the quality of the fish and asked how long it took to catch them. The Mexican replied, "Only a little while." The American asked why didn't he stay out for longer and catch more fish. The Mexican said he had enough to support his family's immediate needs. The American then asked, "What do you do with the rest of your time?" The Mexican fisherman said, "I sleep late, I fish a little, play with my children, take siestas with my wife, Maria, and stroll into the village each evening where I sip wine, play the guitar with my amigos. I have a full and busy life." Sounds like someone I know. The American scoffed, "I have an MBA from Harvard and I can help you." He said, "You should spend more time fishing and with the proceeds buy a bigger boat. With the proceeds from the bigger boat you could eventually buy several boats and eventually you could have a fleet of fishing boats. Instead of selling your catch to a middleman, you could sell directly to the processor, eventually opening up your own cannery. You could control the product processing and distribution." He said, "Of course you would need to leave this small coastal fishing village and move to Mexico City, then Los Angeles, and eventually New York, where you can run your expanding enterprise." The Mexican fisherman asked, "But how long will all this take?" To which the American replied, "Oh, 15 or 20 years so." "But then what?" asked the Mexican. The American laughed and said, "That's the best part. When the time was right, you would announce an IPO and sell your company on the public and become very rich. You would make millions." "Millions," replied the Mexican. "Then what?" The American said, "You could retire, move to a small coastal fishing village where you could sleep late, fish a little, play with your kids, take siestas with your wife, and stroll into the village in the evenings where you sip wine and play guitar with your amigos. Life is simpler than we often make it." So when you sent that to me, I was like, if ever a message sums up your lifestyle perfectly, that's it. So before I get you to talk about it, I would say there's two philosophies from the Romans. Stoicism, which everyone knows, which is basically like every day is Lent, and you're always building a business, building a physique, getting fitter, making more money than you're spending. It's always like putting things off for the future. And then there's Epicureanism, which is YOLO. You only live once, go for it now. I think you live YOLO as much as anyone I've ever met. Would you agree?
Well, yeah, it's actually funny. Rob Lipsett actually sent me the parable and was like, "If this isn't you, I don't know. I don't think there's a better way to describe you." But yeah, YOLO, you only live once. Like, there's a big storm out at sea today. I could be swimming. I just had a little swim before this podcast, and I could get literally dragged out and never seen again. So if I'm happy in my day-to-day life, of course I like to work out and go for runs and do all that stuff, but then again, that's all stuff that just makes me feel good. And the reason I do it is because it makes me feel good. And there can be a time when if you do too much good, if you eat too many chocolate cakes, you soon start to get sick, and you need almost like a dopamine reset.
Too many parties, too much food.
Yeah.
Too little.
I love it. I love it, and I've loved it for the last 2 years or however long I've been doing it. But now, I think after this month, after we've done our run, we'll have one. Well, I don't know. My mind might change because after the season, I want to go and change the YOLO to NOLO, which is don't know what NOLO is, but just not right now. I want to be able to tell people no, like they invite me somewhere.
But the thing is, no one is perfect and no one's life is perfect. But a lot of people I've noticed from being in Ibiza this summer, when they want a good time, they're the first person they ring, or they're the first person they think of, because they know it's going to be loose and it's going to be a lot of fun. And a lot of people, your friends, they live very stoically.
Yeah.
They build businesses, they build brands, they exercise a lot, but everyone needs a release from that. And you're literally the best example of a release from that.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel that people message you for a good time?
I like it because, of course, they should be coming to me first when you land in Ibiza. That's what most people do, message me. And I'll try and be good I'll probably tell most people no for the first 2 or 3 times, and then eventually if they catch me for 4th, they'll get a yes. And I'll just show them my home, my home country.
And do you find it, do you ever worry that you're not being strict enough with yourself?
Yeah, every day I wake up and I want to be strict, and I want to be honest, I basically just have basic rules for myself, so I'm not too hard on myself. I am ready now to make changes and to be a lot stricter on myself, but as long as I exercise, as long as I eat something relatively healthy, and as long as I get whatever needs done for that day on my day, then I'm happy, and I can go to a party, or I can go and have a few beers, or I can go out for a nice dinner. So like I have very minimal things that need done every day, and as long as it's exercise, eat relatively healthy, and get whatever needs done that day, whether that's emails, editing, photos, taking photos, creating content, whatever it is, as long as it's done, then in the evening I can just go and do whatever I want.
I remember the first time I met you in person, we were having food down in Moomac.
Yeah.
And you were like, I don't give a fuck really. I just want to be happy.
Yeah.
And if everything goes wrong, and if I lose all my sponsorships, and if I don't give a fuck, you looked over at the guy in the corner and just said, I'll sweep floors. I'm not worried about the future.
Exactly.
But that's rare, because I know personally, me, like I worry too much about the future, about like saving money or buying a house or building a business or whatever else. How come you're so confident that if things go wrong, it's not going to be that bad?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think
that very thing eats a lot of people up.
I know, and like that's always kind of been my parents' attitudes towards me, is to have that attitude to, well, what if this, what if that, and I never ever think.
Which is natural for a parent.
Yeah, I always just think, if it happens, it happens, and then we deal with it and we work out a way around. Like, I don't know, there's been many times in my life, like, my family aren't rich or well off or anything, so anything that I've had to pay for myself, I've bought. Anything that I've had to buy, I've bought myself. I've never had help at all from my parents with anything. So, like, I always know if I don't have a job doing obviously what I do now today, it's an amazing job which I absolutely love, influencer, YouTuber, whatever you want to call it, creator. I know that if I lost my sponsorships and did everything, I could go just back to doing solely photography, being behind the camera, or like if I didn't have my camera and I lost my camera, I could go back and be a PT, or I could be an online coach. Like, there's always something there's all these skills and experiences that I've experienced throughout my whole life, leading till now, that now leaves me in a position where I know whatever happens, I'll be able to deal with it, and I'll have options.
Yeah, but
like,
that is a difficult skill or mindset for people to cultivate, is not worry too much and have that thing where everything's gonna work out, I'm gonna be fine. But you have it very naturally.
Like, even if I was stuck here with nothing, with no camera, no sponsorships, whatever, I would happily just go and work downstairs.
Yeah.
And like, literally serve people's tables. Like, they're on the beach in the sun every day and they don't need anything else. They ride their bike to work, pay the gym membership,
what would you say to someone, which is definitely me a few years ago, and plenty of people listening, that they worry a bit too much about what if my money runs out, or they want to leave college but they're like, oh, what if my business fails, or they overthink things? What would you say to them?
I think, well, the number one thing is, if you are doing something and you decide you want to do something different, for example, someone that is in university or something, and all of a sudden they're starting to grow their Instagram through posting gym type content or something like that, and they're at college and they're doing something that they're studying that they're not actually interested in. They're just doing it for the degree, or because their parents told them they had to, and they actually have like something on the side like Instagram, and they're growing a pretty big following. People are interested in watching them do lifts, and they're at uni and they don't know what to do. I would always say, go for the one that you enjoy the most, go for what you care about the most. Like, if you can see potential in something and you're willing to put in the work into whatever it is, eventually with enough mistakes you'll eventually reach success, I think. I think whatever you put all of your energy in, if you believe in it yourself, and of course if you follow certain steps, you educate yourself on whatever it is you're trying to learn or make money from, then if you do it every single day and believe in yourself, you'll do it. It's like, same with Joel, same as with our old housemate Jake, who we used to live with. He just buried his head in crypto projects because he knew that there was good money in it, and he just became obsessed with it, and for 2 or 3, 4 years wasn't really making that much money. He had to find other jobs, like he was selling trainers, he was working normal jobs, he was fixing bikes to cover himself whilst he was learning all this stuff about crypto. And next he comes here, he has 1 good month and he can pay for the whole apartment for the whole year, and just his whole life is a lot easier because he's stuck at it.
That brings us perfectly to another point which I wanted to bring up, which is you brought up 2 words there that are really important to me as a coach, because I was a sports coach and I was a personal trainer. So belief and encouragement, and a couple of my mentors in the GA especially, they were like teaching me how to make teams believe in themselves, and how to encourage players. So, because if you criticize someone too much, you're going to take belief in it and that encouragement out of them.
Exactly.
But if you praise them or give them a false sense of belief, they can often underestimate how tough it can be to make progress.
Exactly.
You, in the Creator Club, you have a gift for making literally the 10, 12 people believe in themselves, and so much more than they did at the beginning. I'm an example of it, and I'm over 30, but especially the younger guys, younger 20s, they believe in themselves so much more because of your encouragement.
Yeah, because I don't know if you noticed on the calls, but a lot of them are just basically questioning things that I don't even question in my head. Like, almost like, say they're approaching a new client and they want to ask for a certain amount of money. They ask like 15 different questions, and they only have 1 question, so they're kind of scared to just say I'm quitting my job. Like there's many things that people struggle with, but if I can see it in them and I know that they're making decent money from something else, what is the reason? And they actually want to quit their job. Why are they scared about quitting their job?
You are very good, like any coach in anything, business or any sport, you're very good at seeing potential.
Exactly.
And saying, okay, this is what you should double down on. But where does that come from?
Well, it's funny because I didn't know any of yous at all when everyone joined the Creator Club. You were all complete strangers, but I had of course looked. Well, no, I didn't have the chance to look through people's Instagrams before. I didn't know if anyone was interested. Almost the first few people that bought the course didn't ask me any questions, they just bought it. But I think I can see the potential in pretty much anyone. I can see what people are good at, I can see what people are bad at, and I truly believe in everyone. Like, me and Kevin actually had an argument about this on the way back from Pomtai.
Yeah.
When Kevin,
I think you nearly see too much belief in everyone. You think everyone can be.
Yeah, it's just my mindset. I always think that in my head I can do whatever I want, and obviously I'm very lucky because of where I'm from, where I was born, all of that stuff. But I also think that anyone can can reach their dreams. Like, I think as long as your dreams aren't just completely ridiculous and they're reasonable, I think everyone can achieve their dreams.
Why do you look at certain people in such an optimistic ways, and you look at everyone and you see, okay, this is what he's good at, I'm going to try and encourage it. It comes very natural to you. Where does that come from? Is that your parents' approach? Was it a certain teacher? Was it Mike? Where does that come from?
I don't know, I think it's probably from my parents, because they never really told me no. Like, they never tried to force me to go to university, they basically never forced me into anything. And I don't know, I think it would have been nice to be forced into some things, like maybe a specific sport, or like, of course, it'd be sick if your family were rich and they could take you skiing every year, and you would be, like, if you could focus your time, like, I think a kid needs to focus time and energy on something, and if they don't find it themselves, that's when they might start causing trouble and stuff. No, I was lucky that I was obsessed with football, like literally obsessed with football. After I finished playing football, it was straight into the gym. But I think so many people are encouraged by their parents at a young age to do certain things, or almost persuaded to do these things. So then
they don't love it naturally.
They don't love it naturally.
So
whereas I was always
let do what literally anything.
Exactly.
I think that's what I had similar as well. As I wasn't forced to do anything. I was let do what I wanted.
Yeah.
And that way, I kind of found my true north a bit easier.
Exactly.
Because I wasn't forced to do a certain career or a certain sport or anything.
Exactly.
I was let.
Exactly. But again, another thing with the boys on the courses, everyone that joined had already decided that this was the point. Okay, I want to change my life. I want to do this. So if they've committed to my course and to what I'm doing, to me that's already, okay, this guy, I just need to give him if it's confidence that he's struggling with, and he's scared to approach new clients, or he's scared to ask to...
Okay, well, that's a very good point. So how would you improve someone's confidence as a coach? Because I remember when I met you first, I said you could call the Creator Club creative coaching, because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Like, how would you improve someone's confidence? If you, like, I've seen you do it, but how would you do it?
I think confidence comes from just not being scared for people to tell you no. So I think, like, I've seen people do it before, like, just I'll do it as well. Like, I'll literally do it at every moment. I'm not scared for someone to tell me no. Like, even when I'm going to high, and if I'm not like on the guest list or something and I have to pay for my ticket, I'll still get to the woman at the door and can I have her in for free? All my friends are like, I'll always try. And I in my head I already know the answer. So then if I ever do get the answer, which is hopefully yes, then I'm so much happier. But in my head I'm always ready for no. So if I'm always ready for no, what's the worst that's going to happen whenever you approach a girl, or you ask for something for free, or you quit your job? Like, if someone's going to not let you quit the job, it's going to be like, it's up to you.
So what helps you be confident is you've already went through the worst case scenario.
Exactly.
And it's not that bad.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay. But if you have someone who's low on confidence, and it's funny that you said it to me, Mike said it to me after meeting me only a couple of times. I think Team Cycling said it in the first podcast. Like, I get identified quite a lot with the people I talk to and ask advice from. They say you should be more confident. Because I struggle with. I'm not afraid to try things, and I'm not afraid of failure. But I'm definitely not as confident as I should be, and it's something that a lot of men struggle with. So if you had someone join the Creator Club tomorrow who was lacking a little bit of confidence, wanted to push a photography career or an online coaching career, how are you going to...
I think also lifestyle choices, and just everything in day-to-day life affects your confidence. So if you're choosing to hang around with certain people, then you're basically, it's like, what is it? Like, I've heard a quote, I kind of agree with it, I kind of think it's stupid. You're the person that you surround yourself, of the 3 people that you surround yourself with.
The average of the 5 people you surround most times. Yeah.
Which I agree with, but I also don't agree with. But again, if you're not confident, maybe you're not with the right people, maybe they're not telling you, maybe they're not encouraging you, maybe they're not telling you, oh, I like your outfit today. Like, even if, like, no matter what age you are going through school, or you've just left school, if you're with friends who are constantly taking the piss out of you or laughing at your every mistake, they're probably not the people that you want to be hanging around with, because they're not going to do anything for their confidence. They're going to take it away. I gained so much more confidence when I was with Mike, because Mike was someone who I looked up to, and he believed in me and told me that, oh, you can go and get that goal, you can go and do this, you can do whatever you want.
I've only met Mike maybe a handful of times, but definitely one thing that strikes me about him is how encouraging he is of everyone. And something you brought up before was that, I think it was that Palm Tie, you were saying how much he encouraged you to go YouTube, go and try and get sponsorships, and even when you're talking to him or you're in a circle with him at dinner or whatever else, he's constantly thinking of an idea to, okay, this is how you can make progress, this is how you can make progress. It's very positive.
Exactly.
How did that affect you?
Well, I think...
Well, actually, maybe a better question is, how did you end up working for Mike in the first place?
Well, let's do the first one first, because I have that answer on the tip of my tongue. So I think when I was growing up around all my friends, our fun and enjoyment was literally taking the piss out of each other for everything. Like,
which is normal.
Yeah, completely normal. Like, if you came out wearing a dodgy outfit, we'd be like, oh, have you got the receipt for that? Take it back to Zara or whatever. But I think as well that almost being able to take people saying, like, my friends would like literally look at you, and if you have just anything remotely wrong with how you look, that is going to be the joke that we'll make about you. And like, I think having friends like that growing up, as long as you don't take it personally, that will also build your confidence, because if your friends are picking you apart and pulling you to pieces, as long as they're saying it in a jokey way, you are aware of what other people think of you, how they look at you. And I think first of all, getting the confidence to not care what people actually think of you visually is the first step. And then once you have that, you can also start to develop the I'm not scared of someone telling me no.
What you're talking about there really is the ability to laugh at yourself.
Exactly.
And your own flaws.
Exactly.
Whether it's your clothes, your hair, your body, or whatever.
Exactly.
And not take yourself too seriously.
Yeah. Like, this is a funny way of putting it, but like, for example, if you're traveling, say you're going on a travel day through the airport, and before you even get to the airport, you spill ketchup down your white t-shirt. It's embarrassing, it's ugly, and you know you've got to go maybe 4 or 5, 6 hours dressed like this in front of many people in the airport, on the airplane, and everyone's looking at you. If you can go and just wear that ketchup stain down your top, walking out the airplane, and everyone's looking like, look at this guy, he's a scruff or whatever, why do you not buy a new t-shirt? Yeah. I think silly little thing, like mental games like that.
Whether if you get too emotionally hurt by it, what are people going to think of me?
Yeah. It sounds like
makes perfect sense.
A silly little game to play in my head, but I always think about it. Like things like that.
So,
and whether I'd be embarrassed or...
So a definition of confidence for you would be not being afraid to make a fool out of yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we'll bring it to Mike a little bit, because a lot of people would have found out about you first through Mike.
Yeah.
So how did you end up working with him? Initially, where did you...
So I first worked with him in Hollister when I was 16 for 2 years, and Mike was like...
Hollister was a good brand back then.
Yeah, Hollister and Abercrombie. Yeah. But Mike, Facebook and stuff wasn't around then, but Mike was just like, it was like Mike, Joss Mooney, and a couple of other guys were like these like fitness Facebook guys who all lived in Marbella, and we all used to look at them and be like, who are these guys? We all want to be like that, because we'd all just started the gym and they had already made like good progress. So we always looked up to them, and then Mike turned out to be my manager in Hollister when I was 16. So I used to go to the gym with him for like 2 years back then, and then we kind of just stayed. We have like a similar humour, like we both laugh at the same things, and we have quite a lot in common. And he actually lived next door to my ex in the student town, which was also funny because it meant that I would see him almost every single day, whether I was at work or not. And then basically I left Newcastle, I went to Ireland to live in Ireland, and then I was doing all these shit jobs that I really didn't want to do, and then I watched Casey Neistat on YouTube, saw he was making vlogs, and I was like, right, I want a camera. So then I got a GoPro, learned how to make really shit videos with that. Just for anything being filmed and watching that was cool.
Them. Yeah. The Las Vegas.
Yeah, so shit. But from there, then I basically got a job where I needed a camera. So basically taking real estate photography in Ireland, and then eventually I had a camera, a better camera, and then I had a tripod. And basically what I was doing is I was doing whatever I could to have enough money financially so I could have all the equipment that Casey Neistat had. So he had a GoPro, he had a DSLR camera, he had a microphone, and he had a drone. I was like, right, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get all this stuff, and then I'm gonna have a job in the area that I'm currently passionate about, learn about. So when I first had a camera, I didn't know.
Were you in university at this stage?
No, just left.
And what did you do in university?
Sports management. I wanted to open my own gym. I really wanted to open my own gym. And so that's why I went to uni to do that, even though you don't need to go to uni.
No, not necessarily, but it's not going to hurt.
No. So I got all the equipment for my camera, started making more vlogs, the quality started getting better, I started understanding my camera more. I had to use it for work, also to take photos, so I was just with my camera all day, every day. And I was like, I literally love this. Like, it's so enjoyable. I love having just this piece of kit that can do so much and also make decent money, which I also wasn't aware of. I had the whole vlogging setup, camera, GoPro, microphone, DSLR, everything. I had my laptop. I knew what I needed to do. So then I started learning how to edit vlogs, and then eventually I started getting better and better at making videos and edits, as they were called.
How did you learn how to edit and you use all this technology? Because I've used most of it and it's quite confusing. Used it badly at the start. How did you get? You worked for Rob, Macdos Fitness, and Mike, so three of the biggest fitness influencers on the planet.
Especially at the time, they were even bigger because there wasn't as many other influencers. And
you took photos for them and made videos for them. So like, how did you get so good at taking photos and videos and editing and everything? What was the process of learning how
because
to do
basically
that?
In the real estate job that I was doing, taking photos of houses and stuff, there wouldn't be a house every day, or I would do a house in the morning and then in the afternoon. I was basically just using all my time at work to watch YouTube tutorials on everything, on how to edit photos, how to use Photoshop, how to edit videos. I was learning everything all at the same time. How to use my camera, like what lens the back, like there was a time when I was obsessed with just looking at camera lenses and what they did. And whenever I get obsessed or passionate about something, I literally learn everything about it, and then I go and get the best one, and then I use it until I get sick of it and then move on to something else. But this, it was just every single day, all day, every day. Like,
so you reinvested all the time and money,
everything
back into the passion.
And then my videos started getting a bit better, and then I went to an event where Rob Lipsett was speaking. I think we're actually at the same one. It was Rob Lipsett, Christian Guzman stuff, doing a talk, like a...
It's really good.
Yeah, like a motivational, basically, day.
It was called Creator
Agency.
Yeah.
So, but that was literally, I basically left that day after hearing all them guys speak, who I'd watched on YouTube for probably 2 or 3 years.
Did you have any online profile at that stage?
No. I think I had like 2,000 followers. So, not really.
Okay.
And that was like friends from Newcastle and Ireland.
Of course.
And then I had to drive 2.5 hours back from Dublin, up north. And I literally just sat in the car and the whole way home in my head and thought, I can definitely do what these guys are doing. Like,
were you on your own?
Yeah, I was like, I know for a fact I can do exactly what these, like, I know I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. And then I basically just started making decisions to basically get me to where they were. So basically how to get a connection in there. And then I basically said to Rob on Instagram, look, I'm a photographer, videographer, and just getting started. I love your videos, I would love to help you, even for free. And I was like, look, I attended your event. That was kind of my golden ticket, you know, to show him that I had actually paid and took the time out of my life to, of course, first of all, pay him and also spend that time seeing him. Like, so he appreciated that immediately. That was...
Do you think that's where a lot of people fall down, is they don't want to invest in like education or a mentor, or say I'm going to do this for free to help you out for...
That's the number one thing that you have to do, and like...
That's what I've noticed, and that's what I was very poor at as well, but getting a lot better at.
People would message brands asking can they work with them or get paid to wear them and take photos for them or whatever, but they'd actually never even had used the brand or tried the brand before, so they had no idea what it was actually like. For me, every brand that I've worked with has been because I've already been buying the product first, and then when I love the product, that's when I'll end up reaching out to the brand and being like, look, I've been wearing this for however long. You can see in all my photos here, 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 and I would like to work with you if it's possible, or even just shoot for free, get you some pictures for free, and then if that goes well, maybe I could get like a unique link where I can track how many people are using my link if I'm posting about the product, and then from there I always get so many clicks, so many people interested, because they can see that I've been using a certain product for however many years, and now there's a chance that I can.
Your followers are very engaged.
Yeah.
And they trust you a lot.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because I took a long, like it's been a long time, like almost everyone that messages me on Instagram, I can almost see from the people who have been with me for like 6 or 7 years, like I know them as my first followers, and they've always liked or commented on all my stuff. But I think it's just because I'm pretty transparent, like I just say it how it is, and I behave how I behave, because that's just me, and I'm not going to hide anything. Like I don't have anything to hide. My number one thing in this world is being honest. Like my whole life, even if I used to do bad stuff, I'd have to go and tell my mum, just because I had to be honest. Like I couldn't hold things into myself. And even with Instagram and stuff, sometimes I tend to overshare. But in my head,
but in real life as well, you do that.
Overshare. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're very open.
Yeah, this is the way I am.
It's been quite inspiring to me how open you are in terms of how much your friends mean to you, or
of course. Well, like but
it's not natural for a lot of men. It's not natural for me anyway.
I'm just lucky to have it. I feel like anyone that knows me, or any of my friends, know that like they could come to me and ask me something or tell me something, and they wouldn't feel bad about it after. I would make sure I could try and help them in the whatever that situation was, to make the most positive, to make light of it.
Most of the time for men, it's not even that you need someone to fix your problems. It's just you need to talk to someone and get it off your chest.
Exactly.
It's not even that they're going to give you the solution.
Exactly. But I think just talking on Instagram stories, almost like I was vlogging. So it was always easy for me to talk on Instagram stories, because I was so used to talking to my camera and vlogging when I was getting 30 views on YouTube. Like if you're literally walking around holding the camera, talking to it, and you get 30 views on YouTube and you don't feel like an idiot, then there must be something wrong. Like,
yeah,
but that's what you have to do. Like only 30 people are going to watch this, and I'm literally walking around the centre of Belfast or somewhere.
That's
like
where I am right now.
Absolute idiot. But you have to, everyone has gone through that stage.
Yeah.
And I think definitely me just always talking on my Instagram stories to Instagram, to my followers.
Do you think is that the missing link for a lot of people who are trying to do what you're doing, is they don't talk enough?
I don't think you need to show your personality. I think unless you're like super good at something, like very good at photography or whatever, then you don't ever have to show your personality. But I think showing your personality is good for everything, for your personal brand. Like people like to see who's the creator or who's the person behind whatever. Like for example, if it's a famous photographer, people would like to. I'm sure people would enjoy seeing more about who that person actually is, rather than just their photography.
Which is why podcasts have exploded. You're seeing a lot of people on podcasts who do things, and it's often the first time you see them interviewed. And this is your first ever one-on-one interview, is it?
Yeah, first ever.
That's why I was very keen to get it.
Nice. No, it's 100%, and what you've been doing, which is answering Q&As all the time. Because I made a rule until I got to like 10,000 followers that I went on the Stairmaster every night in the gym until I had answered all the messages. So the faster I answered all the messages, the quicker I could get off the Stairmaster. And I did that for probably like 2 years, and then I decided, right, I'm going to start doing a weekly Q&A, because
just like Gary Vaynerchuk said that a lot.
Because it means that I can answer pretty much the questions that people are asking me are almost always the same questions. So it means if I answer these publicly, then I can help more people with the answers.
Well, if one person is asking the question, 10 more are thinking it.
Exactly. But so just Q&As and actually just helping people and caring about people, I think.
Does it mean a lot to you to help people?
Yeah, it's my favourite message in the world to receive is, hey Louis, how are you? Blah, blah, blah.
I've seen in person like dozens of times out here where someone comes up to you and it's quite heartwarming. Like they're like, I love your stuff. You've inspired me to go out here, or I watch all your videos. I love watching you and Mike.
That's the thing. Like I don't class myself as a fitness influencer. I just inspire people to live a happier life.
It actually happened, Joel. Yesterday. Yeah, so came up. They said they recognised Joel from Louis' videos.
Nice.
It happened to me and Destino as well.
It's my favourite thing in the world. Like, oh, that honestly is. It sounds, like I don't know if it sounds like I'm being big-headed or
no. It's nice
ego,
to be seen and heard.
Exactly. Like, if people are coming up to me and telling me that watching my videos has made a positive impact on their life in some way, that's literally, it makes me more happy than anything in the world. And that's why, no matter what happens, I won't ever stop making YouTube videos.
What's the number one thing you want for your audience from watching your videos? Your followers?
It would be 100% to see, if I'm living this life, I am not living this life to rub it in your face. I'm living this life and I'm videoing it to show all of yous who maybe you aren't the most clever, maybe you're not the most athletic, or maybe you don't have a skill, or maybe you're an introvert, or maybe you're not the best looking. I'm showing everyone that I was like not many of them things at all, and now I'm able to sit here in Ibiza with my best friendship group, with everything that I want and need at my disposal, because I made YouTube videos. So if you're sitting thinking you can't do something or you're in a bad place, there is something that you can go and do to make your life dramatically better, 100%. Even if it's not videoing yourself, there's something out there for everyone, I believe, that they should be good at. And I think, for me, it's just about inspiring people to live a more enjoyable life, and just say yes to things.
As one of your followers from the early days, I think I was on 8,000, you were on 8,000 when I started following. I can say 100% sure you've done that with thousands of people, you know? But in a very intimate way in the Creator Club.
Yeah.
Very close, one-on-one. It's a bit of a plug for the Creator Club, but like, you've done that in a very big way. Like, my life has been completely taken to the next level, hugely by the Creator Club. In 6-7 months, and you've done it for the rest of the guys, and you've done it for a lot of your followers as well, which is, it's maybe you don't think about it enough, but it's an incredible thing what you've done.
Well, again, that's the thing with the Creator Club, is that I genuinely think about everyone every single day, and I almost, because it is still so small, and I think there's 12 to 14 of us in total, but not everyone's on every call, is I listen. I'm not like a psychologist or a therapist, but I listen to everyone's things that they need help with, and throughout the week my head is just, I'm never focused on one thing, there's always just a million things going on in my head. But
there's a quote I really like, which is, you wouldn't have the ambition if you didn't have the potential. So I think everyone is on the Creator Club and they have this ambition to travel like Joe, or to race car stuff like Matt, or so they have these ambitions, but they're not fulfilling their potential, me as well, because they haven't maybe got the encouragement or the belief. And that's where you're coming in between, is that middleman that helps.
Which I love more than anything, being that middleman, because I've been in their position, and I'm in a position now where I'm in a very good place, but I'm in a position where I know what my next step is. Like, I basically look at Mike and see what he's doing and say, okay, I'm just going to follow Mike's footsteps. Like, it's not as hard as what people think. Just look at what other people are doing. If they're successful, find out why and just follow their steps, and eventually you should end up somewhere in a similar position to them. That's what I do with Mike, in my opinion. But
a lot of people in the Creator Club and in person ask you for advice. What do you think is the number one reason holding the majority of people back? When you see someone and he comes up to you and he's really eager to make progress, what's usually the missing link?
Normally that he's just not ready to change yet. He wants to change and he's thinking about it, but until someone actually pulls the plug and decides, right, that's it, I need to change my life. Like, I can see when someone's, I'll be talking to people on Instagram all the time, and they'll be telling me like, oh, I want to do this, and I'll waste maybe hours trying to sell them the Creator Club or try and help them decide what they want to do in life. But in their heads, if they're not actually ready to change, then they're never going to actually change. Like, they're not going to...
Just like that quote, when the pain of, it's Tony Robbins, when the pain of staying the same is past the pain of change, and that's the only time you'll
Exactly.
change.
Like people only quit their jobs when they're fed up.
So it's the comfort zone really that's holding most people back.
Yeah. So I think you need to. I think like literally, honestly, having a good like routine in place, like a daily routine of splitting your day into sections, work out in the morning, eat healthy, like read a book. Like if you have a balance of all these things that you're doing every single day to try and become a better person, both mentally and physically, then I think you're also on the right path to changing your career or changing what you're doing, maybe business-wise or to make money.
But to come back to the very first point, that's the funny thing about you, is that you do work hard and you do work a lot, but you nearly almost immediately are like the fisherman, enjoying wine and
Exactly.
in the ocean. A key thing about YouTube and about social media in general is communication skills, and a key thing about coaching or being a trainer is communication skills. It's not actually the message, it's how you're communicating the message.
Yeah.
Mike has his style, Matt has his style, Rob has his style, and you have yours. Is there anything, I think if people trying to grow on social media, or not even be a viral or a huge hit, but just grow a little bit, if the key is improving their communication skills, do you have any tips on that? Have you ever thought about the way you speak, or your tone of voice, or your eye contact? Is there anything, something you've thought of, or does it come natural to you?
I'd say it comes quite natural to me. I definitely notice after I've recorded certain things that maybe I've done things like looked away from the camera for too long, or maybe my camera has a little side screen on it and I sometimes look at the screen at myself rather than to the lens. And I think, I don't know, there's just basic skills to communication, like body language. Are you facing the person, looking at them, chin up, eye contact? Like for me as well, like just basic things, like if I ever come and meet someone or greet someone, I always take my sunglasses off and look them in the eyes.
Yes.
Like I just think there's, and I also just think being honest, like I've learnt this from obviously being in Europe for the last couple of years, but German people, Spanish people are very, very direct. And like I think English people and Irish people kind of beat around the bush too much, whereas German and Spanish people will just tell you that's that,
Yeah.
and there's no
Agreed.
kind of going around. And I think, again, I've told you before, communicating, if you want something, ask for it, and if you want to do something for someone, just do it. Like just don't beat around the bush, basically.
Well, there's a very famous book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I think that's what I'll name this podcast, How to Win Friends and Influence People, because like your ability to win friends is very impressive, because a lot of successful people, they don't like people who kiss their ass, or they don't like people who have nothing to them.
Yeah.
They want someone around them who's going to help them benefit, and they want a good relationship that way. How would you recommend someone improve their network the way you've improved your network, from managers, from people to work with, from people to coach?
But I think it's crazy. I don't want to brag about this, but if I think about my friendship group now, all my best friends, all the people that I'm with, every single person has almost came from somewhere different, because they've messaged me or they've met me. And what I've done, I'm not saying I've done this, it's happened because everyone wanted to be friends as well, but like you've got Joel, who came from Ireland, we came here together, Joel then became my best friend. Randy is now here because he likes to party with me, he's now my manager, helps with my life, helps me with everything in my life. Thank God for Randy, because if Randy wasn't here, I wouldn't be here. But then we've got Jorge, who I met in Tulum, you've got Maxwell, who I met in Tulum, you've got Christoph, who I met here. And what I always try and do is the people that stand out to me the most in life and that I really like or have something good about them is basically, it used to be me and Joel and Mike, and we'd find someone that we like and we'd introduce them to the team, and they either stay in the team or they go away. Like Darren, we just met him at a party one time, and he's been in the same group. Like our group is all, I think, I don't want to brag or sound weird about this, but I think it's not almost everyone that's in our team is because they've met me at one point and I've pulled people in that I want to be with.
I like the title of that book, Win Friends, because a good friend is a prize.
Yeah.
And like they're going to help you I don't know, get fitter, stronger. They're going to help you make more money. They're going to help you develop a new skill. They're going to help you meet other influential people. Like you certainly do win a friend, but it's definitely something that doesn't come natural to a lot of people. Maybe they're more introverted. How would you say you seem to have a knack for it?
I think being kind of charming, so having a nice smile. If I meet someone who's like potentially my friend, it's because I've met them through someone else, or because they've watched my videos, and then I become a friend because they already know me. But I don't know.
Well, see, if one day we're at Blue Marlin, it's a good example, is your birthday, and you went straight up to two fellas. You're like, I love your outfit, sick outfit. I know that brand. And they were nearly taken aback at how direct you were and complimentary.
Actually forgot about that.
It's not natural for a lot of lads to do that.
I care like a lot about things and other people. And
I'm only bringing it up because it helps you progress. And if more people did it, they don't have to be doing it as often as you or as regularly as you, but if they were more complimentary, more office, or more open, more engaging in conversation, more willing to open or start a conversation, it helps a lot. It's something I'm working on hard at the minute.
I think it's probably like compassion. Like I care about why people are doing stuff. For example, if they're doing something good, I wonder what I care about why they're doing something good. There's a homeless guy on the street doing something bad, like trying to break into a car or something. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like if it's not immediately obvious, like I like to ask people. I care whether someone's doing something for a good reason, and I also care whether someone's doing something for a bad reason, because in my head I genuinely want to know why they're doing that. That's why I've kind of like Jordan Peterson and psychology based podcasts so much now, because I like
you're curious as in
to why people behave the way they do. And I think what I always try to do, even if it's going to be a good person or a bad person that you're meeting or introducing yourself to, is always be as happy and as positive and as confident as you possibly can, because even if this person decides that they don't like you, they're going to be thrown off by like, what the hell, how could that guy have that kind of persona? Like, I hate him because who would actually be that happy all the time? But if you actually just go in thinking the best of everyone and caring about people.
That is your default thought, is to see the good in people and be very, very optimistic and positive.
Yeah, and I very rarely meet someone who I can't kind of get a smile out of, or I can't try and convince them to not make a bad decision.
Is that the key to your success?
I would say so, yeah. Like,
more than anything else, people skills.
Definitely, 100%. Like, and I don't really know why I'm good at. Again, I think it's just because I'm interested. Like, so when I go and get a coffee from Starbucks, I'm genuinely interested about the person who is serving me that coffee. Like,
so is curiosity the key? Is in you're very curious who they are, where they're from, what their personality is, why they're behaving or working,
exactly.
What they're working. So curiosity is the key in your people skills.
Yeah, in pretty much everything in my life. Basically, if you think about it, you doing this podcast or Joe Rogan doing this podcast, it's because he has questions and he's curious to know. And by asking those questions, you learn more and more every day by asking questions. I think there's no stupid question at all. I think you should ask any question that you think of, as long as you're not asking a question that's going to deliberately hurt someone or harm someone.
Yeah,
I think you have the right to ask anyone a question.
Yeah, something inappropriate. Yeah.
And also, don't make them feel obliged to give you the answer. They can just say, no, I don't want to tell you, whatever.
But the number one reason most people wouldn't ask questions is probably because they're afraid of looking stupid.
Yeah.
So that's the fact that you're not afraid to look stupid, combined with your curiosity.
No, because people, if you do ask a stupid question, people laugh at you for 5 seconds and then it'll be forgot about and it'll be on to the next question. So if you genuinely have the stupidest question in the world, just ask it if you want to know the answer.
That's very interesting. It's very interesting. It's like Jordan Peterson could do a good bit on you.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Let's move on. We talked about Mike a bit, and the most important thing he taught you. But what's the most important thing Matt or Rob taught you? As people are, they're very, very well known, and you've worked closely with either. So you can give it in just a sentence, or you can go into it deeper. But what do you think you've taken or absorbed from time spent with Matt or Rob?
Well, it's funny, again, very similar to me, like Matt. On 2 different occasions, I remember I did a video with Matt where we tried to do my biggest lift, see what my PB would be on all my lifts, after not really doing any of them lifts, after being extremely inconsistent in the gym like I have been for the last 5 years. But Matt encouraged me every moment to lift more and more and more. And the other times that I've been with Matt, I've been on holiday, Mallorca, here, like we're jumping off rocks, like big, like cliff jumping basically. And I was always too scared to do the big one, and Matt would just be like, go on, do it, do it, do it. And then if you also, like, if I called Matt and said, right, I've got a video idea, do you want to do it? He would encourage me to do it. Okay, I'll take my time to do it with you. Like, again, just being positive and encouraging. Same as Rob.
Very supportive.
Yeah, and just, because those guys are in the position they're in, that's because they believed in themselves. And you can just see if someone believes in themselves, and then they believe in you.
It's infectious.
Yeah.
It's like contagious. They're
Yeah.
spreading that belief they have.
Exactly.
So that's why the people you hang around is so important.
Exactly.
That's interesting. It's the same for Rob.
And Rob's probably biggest message is just be yourself. Like, Rob Lipsett is exactly what it says on the tin. He's Rob Lipsett. There's no one else like him. That's just Rob. Like, I love how Rob's like that. Like, he just doesn't give a fuck what other people think. And yeah, so that's 2 things probably that we'll have in common. Be yourself and encourage others.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. So we'll start wrapping up a little bit. I have a few more questions to ask you. You can give short answers or long answers. Do you miss, while you're living in Ibiza, I'm big into what people wear in their fashion. We talk about this a lot. Do you miss not wearing winter clothes? I remember, I ask you this because I remember when you were living back in Ireland and England, you used to wear the black jeans and the blue denim jacket a lot.
Yeah.
Christian Guzman used to wear that a lot as well. Do you miss winter fashion at all since living in a hot country?
Yeah, definitely. I miss just fashion in general, to be honest, because I feel like Ibiza, everyone just literally there's no rules. Everyone just wears whatever they want. So you don't really you can see people who obviously dress cool and look nice. I literally every single day of my life just wear swimming shorts.
Yeah.
And even Kevin said to me today, "What, do you not even wear flip flops?" Like, just literally go out like an animal.
It's common in like even like millionaires, they'll just be wearing Birkenstocks and shorts.
Island life.
Yeah.
But no, I do miss fashion. I would like to get back into it. So it's gonna be for you just don't even think about it.
No, that outfit's it's a classic outfit. I like looking back to the outfits that have been popular in like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, every decade. And denim jacket and a black jeans is pretty.
One of the best.
Well, it's steady. It's like in a hot country wearing beige and white. It's just
exactly.
like you go through all the ages.
Exactly.
Famous people are wearing the same thing. Is there anything else, other outfits you miss from cold countries?
I miss just like layering clothes.
Yeah.
That's what I miss probably the most.
That's why I went to cold countries first on my travels, because I wanted winter fashion in Berlin and Paris when it was cold. There'd be more layers. I have a lot of clothes like that. And
you can layer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question, but
well, it's important because I've yet to see one influencer who doesn't have their own distinct style. None of it is random, or none of it is thrown together.
Yeah, true.
It's a particular aesthetic. It might change and alter a bit, but there's still a particular image that you associate with some people.
I just like represent. Represent is just
Jordan's friend.
Yeah, whatever they're wearing, whatever they're selling, I like it. I think they just do the thinking for me. And then I also like the kind of boho style, like nice, super lightweight, oversized shirt, linen pants, the whole boho.
And it goes hand in hand with your people skills as well, that if you're trying to make a good impression on people and you're meeting them for the first time, you're trying to network. If you're well dressed and you're presented well and you're clean, good hygiene, it makes the world a difference.
Yeah, because you know if you're meeting certain people at certain places, whatever, for, okay, right, I need to shave my beard, I need to tidy it up, or I need to get a haircut, or I need to make sure those pants are washed for tomorrow because I, like, you know, people say, oh, I wouldn't go dressed like this because they feel...
Do you think men underestimate the impact that can have on networking and meeting new people?
Yeah, but there's probably some poorly dressed men who still do alright.
But the exception rather than the rule.
No, I think people should just wear clothes that make them feel good, make them feel confident.
Of course, there's like many different styles.
Yeah.
You know, let's say like a rock star versus boho versus
True.
Streetwear and brands like that. But be particular about what you wear or distinct about what you wear. Because if you present yourself badly on Instagram where you're unkept, it's going to have an effect on whether people follow you or not.
Yeah, that's true. 100% true.
Mm.
So yeah, I think just look for inspiration. Same as what I do for everything in life. Like if I'm going to stay in a hotel in Mallorca, I look for all the pictures and see what other people have done there. If I'm
even if you look at like Rambir and Joe, like I have an image in my head already of what they wear.
Exactly. Yeah, me too. If you don't have any inspiration for fashion, just watch YouTube videos on fashion or search Instagram fashion, look at other people's styles and see what you like. And eventually you'll start noticing what brands people are wearing. Then you start looking into the brand, then you'll go with the brand. Which
is how a lot of social media works.
Exactly.
Because having a brand, clothing brand especially, is extremely popular among the top end influencers.
Exactly. All the time, if I was stuck for what to do on YouTube videos or stuck for ideas, I would spend a couple of nights watching YouTube, and I'd soon have a really good idea of what my next video was going to be.
Last few questions. What's the strongest you've ever been in the gym? Squat, bench press, deadlift. You brought it up with Matt there.
Probably when I was 19, which is now 11 years ago.
Was that your best ever physique?
Nah, probably not my best physique, but the strongest was when I was 19. All my lifts were...
What were you lifting?
I could do like 140 for free.
Bench press?
Yeah.
Squat?
I can't even remember, but it was way, even when I did the lifts with Matt, I did way more when I was 19. Now when I'm in the gym, I just find it so pointless to lift big heavy weights. Like it just does nothing for me.
Well, you prefer cardio now, you get more out of it.
I get more out of it, yeah. But again, it's like, it was cool to be strong then, but now like I don't care at all.
That's pretty much covered. So we'll finish up with that. The last bit, I got you this book. My favourite book for your birthday. Do you know the Ibiza postal service?
I know about it well.
It takes a long time to come. Thanks for all the encouragement throughout the year. You've made a huge difference, and it's been a lot of fun getting to know you.
Wow, thanks, Kev.
I hope the run goes well for the two of us, and no doubt we'll get some content out of it.
100%. We've got a sick videographer coming.
Yeah, and on behalf of all the rest of the boys in the Creator Club, thanks for the help you've given us.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, it's been
Thanks for everything. Kevin, by the way, is been such a positive influence on my life over the last few months since we met. And Kevin, the whole run was his idea. Kevin is just very, very thoughtful, and like little books like this, he got me the 5-minute journal also for my birthday, which for me is something I always ask Kevin about, and Kevin just picks up on the little details with everyone, and I think it's everyone that we've met and that's brought you into the group, like, has just said Kevin's the nicest guy ever, and I think that goes a long way.
Thanks very much. Alright, we'll leave there.
Nice, Kev. Right, Sammy, let's get on the beers.